have had this drought.
Right.
I kind of put this in a chat room. I was hoping you respond to it, but there's this thing called the DC Sports Curse here in the DMV area. And what the DC Sports Curse means, at least in my eyes, at least the time that I've lived here, is that since 1998, no Washington, D.C. team has even made a conference title round. That meaning an Eastern Conference final, a NLCS, or a NFC championship game. So, these teams, they make the playoffs and then they disappoint in the first or second rounds of these playoffs.
So what do y'all attribute that to?
I don't know, man.
The Redskins logo, the Redskins mascot, maybe. When did the controversy, I guess, really get heated up with the Redskins, Daniel Snyder, and that mascot? If it is 1988, yeah, I'll say that's what it is. Y'all some cursed bastards.
Well, Maestro will be able to, Maestro is native, so he may be able to explain a little bit more than I would.
Uh-huh. Right.
But yeah, man. Sports here in not in Baltimore. Baltimore's teams are pretty good, but DC teams, over the last, I guess now would be almost 20 years since none of these teams have even gotten to the round to get to the big game.
Yeah.
It's disappointing.
I'll say this, man. Y'all got the Redskins, Joe Gibbs, and the Hogs and Riggins, and y'all have Doug Williams and all of those great memories. And y'all got Super Bowl wins. I mean, the Falcons, what they did this past year was just unbelievable, bro. And we ain't going to recover from that in a long time. But I'm going to go back and research to see when real conversation started about this mascot in D.C., man. Thanks for the call, my man Trey from the Barbershop Sports Talk podcast. Good stuff, bro. Right. You know how they always say teams have misfortunes or whatever entity it may be have misfortunes because they're buried on an Indian burial ground? Maybe the Redskins organizations and all of the sports teams in the D.C. area having misfortunes and bad, years because of this whole mascot controversy with the team, with the pro football team. From who we got here, Wody 504. This was the comment I was about to mention before we took the phone call. Well, let me grab another call. We got another call. Caller, thanks for calling the Doug Stewart Show. What's your name? Where you calling from? What you want to talk about?
Doug Stewart and dude, John Fisher in the building, baby.
John Fisher in the building. What up, folks?
What's going on, Doug? What's going on, baby?
Man, I'm good. So I looked at your little bracket today, and you did good, man. You up there you basically in second place in the tournament challenge with 190 points. There's a couple people ahead of you got 191 points. Talk about your first day of picking on the brackets, bro.
It's still, what's crazy is the two games that I lost, I really didn't want to pick them. I went with Minnesota, on my love for Vince. And I mean, they had a good season. And I went for VCU. That was out of my love for Virginia. Having lived there 14 years out of my life.
Right.
But I don't know, man. It's certain teams, like same thing you said with Trey, man. Like Xavier, it was no way I had Xavier losing in the first round.
Right.
You know what I mean? So but realistically speaking, it's still early. It's like a 5-way tie for fifth place and like a 18-way tie for first place. So it's still early. We'll see. There's some big games coming on tonight, man.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this Lonzo Ball kid. Wouldn't it be something if they fizzle out and get beat early in the tournament, man? I'm very interested to watch this kid and how he performs with all of this controversy surrounding his old man.
See, the funny thing about it, Doug, I think it's going to hurt. All right, so we all know he's coming out for the draft.
Right.
The thing that I wonder is, all right, if he plays a good game, and I say a good game like 14 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, but they still lose, does that hurt his draft stock because of the stuff that his dad says? They're going to be talking, better than Steph Curry, yeah, right. Or if he goes out there and balls out and they lose, or if he goes out there and they actually win, how much is that going to help? You know what I mean? But it's going to be real interesting to see what happens with UCLA because his pops has put a lot of chips on his back, and he's going to have to deliver.
Yeah, you know what, man? And I tell you what, it shouldn't be that way. Like, this shouldn't affect with the scouts and what teams think of Lonzo Ball, but subconsciously, man, it might. And I hope that's not the case, but it might. So UCLA, the number 3 seed, takes on Kent State today, so definitely going to be checking that out. What else you got for me, Jay Fish?
I mean, keep it 100. Before I get out of here, yeah, I think it shouldn't make a difference, but technically speaking, man, I mean, LeVar Ball is like the male version of Miko Grimes, man, and I'm gone.
I wouldn't go that far. So Miko Grimes is Brent Grimes' wife, and you just look up Miko Grimes. He used to play for the Falcons here and very outspoken. Will cuss your ass out in a second. No, I wouldn't say LeVar Ball is a comparison to Miko Grimes. I'd say LeVar Ball right now, and there's a lot of the story left to be told, I'd say LeVar Ball right now reminds me of Richard Williams. That turned out pretty good. Secondarily, I would say LeVar Ball reminds me of Earl Woods, Tiger's old man. That turned out pretty good too as well. So we'll see. Yeah. Like, I haven't heard, in the comparison to Miko Grimes, I haven't heard LeVar Ball cuss out folks. You know, I haven't heard him go and just, cuss out folks or anything like Miko Grimes does. A good comparison, man, right now, at this point in their careers, talking about these young ball boys, is Richard Williams. Man, Richard Williams was talking about how Venus and Serena were going to dominate tennis. They were going to be the biggest thing in tennis history when they was like 10, 11 years old. I mean, think about that now. The comparison and the analogy to Richard Williams and LeVar Ball. Once again, we have history to show what the Williams sisters have done over the last 20 years, and we don't have a lot of data on these ball boys. But I'm talking about when Venus and Serena were like 10 years old, Richard Williams sounded exactly like Mr. LeVar Ball. So we'll see. They thought Richard Williams was crazy. Do y'all remember that? Do y'all remember how they used to talk about Richard Williams? They thought that he was, crazy, like the crazy man walking the street or whatever, like something was wrong with him, like he was psychotic. They were talking about Richard Williams like he was off his rocker, like he was crazy or something like that. He used to make all of these grandiose predictions about how Venus and Serena were going to dominate tennis once again, and they weren't on the professional tennis tour. They weren't on the amateur tour. They weren't playing in all of these little, AAU-type circuits in tennis. They weren't professionally trained. They didn't have one of these hotty-toddy coaches or whatever like that. Their daddy wasn't spending a lot of money on lessons and none of that. And everybody was like, they really disregarded him. They did. And very familiar to LeVar Ball. Once again, these kids may not, amass to half of what Venus and Serena have done in their career. What I'm saying is at this point in their careers is very similar to that point in the career of Venus and Serena when you're talking about Richard Williams. My man, Wody504 says Pepe Le Pew was a sexual predator. Let me say something about Pepe Le Pew. So yesterday on this Field of 64 cartoons, we had a lot of questions, a couple of questions about why wasn't certain cartoons in or why wouldn't certain cartoons, attributed or put into this bracket, into this tournament. One, Pepe Le Pew, Foghorn Leghorn. I saw somebody else in the chat room said something about Foghorn Leghorn, which is the big-ass trash-talking chicken on Looney Tunes. Somebody said something about Speedy Gonzalez. You got to remember, those cats didn't have their own cartoons. They were part of the Looney Tunes. Okay? All right? So, right, these are cartoons these are characters or whatever, you're talking about the characters that had their own cartoon that came on at its own time. So Pepe Le Pew and Foghorn Leghorn and all of those cats, they were part of the Looney Tunes, which is Bugs Bunny's gig, basically. And also somebody else said, why isn't – oh, I knew who it was. It was my man Texas Ty. Texas Ty was like, why wasn't The Simpsons in this thing? We tried to keep it to, like, kids' cartoons. That's what we tried to keep it to. So there's no Boondocks. There's no Simpsons. There's no The Cleveland Show. There's no Mr. or no Family Guy or nothing like that. We kept it to kids' cartoons, pretty much the cartoons that you grew up watching on Saturday morning for our age demographic. That's the way we did it. From Al Blue Devils, North Carolina Thompson. In fact, Richard Williams admitted he didn't know how to play tennis, and he read up on it to teach his own girls. You hear that? That's true. Richard Williams talking all this smack about how his daughters are going to be the greatest thing or greatest story in tennis. These young black girls from Compton, California, he didn't even know how to play tennis. But you can make the argument that Richard Williams was talking more quote-unquote crazy than LeVar Ball. So you don't know. It may be nothing at all. It may just be a dad very proud of his sons and promoting his sons and talking up about his sons. We're going to get to some comments from Steve Curry in a second. It may just be nothing. We may 5 years from now don't even know where the Ball brothers are. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, we may not even know what they're doing. They could be like Todd Marinovich or something, speaking of which, who's in the news. Or they could turn into Venus and Serena. We don't know yet. It's as simple as that. Lonzo Ball could turn out to be the best basketball player in NBA history. Probably won't happen, but you don't know. Man. If they could have, they would have had Richard Williams committed. Something wrong with this guy. This ninja crazy. He never played tennis. He's training his daughters. They don't have the money that these other rich elite parents and tennis players have. They're in Compton. They're not at some country club. They have like Walmart tennis rackets. And he says they're going to be the best tennis players ever? Man, that nigga crazy. Hey, man, believe in yourself. How about that? When we get back from the break, a little entertainment talk. Don't go away. This is the Doug Stewart Show.
Emotional